We will probably absolutely get cancelled and
I won't. The rest of
serving
you will.
community service. Mate, you were
Leo,
editing all this.
Monke, Maav, maybe Sam. You're all getting community service.
Why
Oh,
me?
I'm
I
getting
didn't do
community
anything.
service
I
for
have
sure.
to. I agree. I have to. I don't care.
Yeah.
Why would I?
You're
Uh, guilty
editing,
by association.
no,
Editing.
editing.
That's going at the start. That's going at the
Oh
start
yes.
of it.
That
I'm
Oh my God.
editing it. Editing by Sam.
Stay until the end for a Leo brain fart. So here we are in the first edition of the URFL podcast with Sam and Maav, your host. Today we have Welshy, we have Monke,
Hello.
Runner, and Destructo.
evening, guys.
Leo is also here, but he's not here, but he is here. So we're going to start. We're going to be reviewing the season 9 in its entirety. A small review, a look back to the past. We can start looking at the 23 tier 1. We have, as no surprise, we can see Leo at the top of the standings. A dominant season, 9 wins, 2 podiums, 1 DNF, and 1 did not start. In the top 2, we have Mishaki, 42 points behind. A really consistent season by him. And we have Charlie, his teammate, and then Cam, who was Leo's teammate for most of the season. Sam, any opinions on the 23 T1 season?
Leo won another championship. There's not a lot of surprise in that considering previous seasons, but I mean, tier 1, it just has good racing some of the time. It's not like tier 2 where there's going to be crazy, just crashing and stuff. So there's chance of different winners and like stuff, but it's usually got good racing, and they will be the fastest here. So
Usually more constant. There was an odd race there. There was your Spa or your Bahrain, but it was mostly a fight of 4 people at the front. We do have one winner in P12 in the championship. Honorable mention to Lost World, who win and then dipped, never to be seen again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was an annoying thing. I mean, he did a few races. He had a lot of potential, but just outside reasons he couldn't continue racing.
He was the winner in the, was it Spa, right? Where Leo and Charlie came together on the straight.
I should know, but I have no clue.
Yeah, I think last lap Leo and Charlie got together, and that's why Lost World ended up winning. And yeah, it was kind of a interesting race, an interesting season. In the team constructors, it's a little bit closer. We have to consider that Aston had a penalty, right, for the cap infringement. The standings ended up being 480 points for McLaren and 449 for Aston. After that, well, we know like it's a season that was mostly entertaining at the top, right? Red Bull was the next best team with 4 podiums, and then Ferrari with a single P2 in 4th place.
So moving on to tier 2 23, we had Maav win, Destructo second, Sasid Bark in 3rd, and Monke in 4th. Pretty decent racing from like experience, especially for tier 2 in comparison to some tier 2s I've seen. It's pretty decent. There was the occasional crash and the idiot around. Not looking at my teammate at the start of the season, but it is what it is. But Mav driving by himself because the budget was all spent on tier 1.
Sad.
And still manages to win without a teammate helping him.
Yeah, it
But-
was kind of, to be honest, it did feel like a different season for a T2. Like I did some races for T2 in the season 8, and it was like nowhere near this. Like this was really clean, and you could battle a lot, which normally isn't the case in T2. It also helps that Destructo was there, like my boy didn't get a single penalty point in the season. That is a big key way of the season for me. Like, he shows that it can be done. Most people did have like reports, but there wasn't anything like issues or anything. It was a really nice season. Like, and Tacit having missed 2 races, like he would have been the champion if he didn't miss those 2 races. So yeah, and the teams, we have Williams,
Top three.
yeah, dominating obviously. The only team in the top 3 with a full lineup the whole season, so to be expected. 310 points. Alfa Romeo managed to snatch P2 at the last race with 261 points. McLaren behind with 257 and Ferrari with 254. Aston with the penalty 228. So in this like tier, it's not something like, it's not that big of a gap, to be honest. Like, it's 5 teams in 100 points. So yeah, it shows you how close the season really was, like in all fronts. And with that, we will move to 24. Well, what a surprise, right? Leo winning by quite a margin.
Another one.
Eh? Hello?
Wins. Shot Cora.
Okay, yeah, so Leo won, T1, 222 points, P2 was 115, and P3 was 104. The season got cut short because there wasn't enough T1 pace drivers available. So yeah, something to look forward to next season. I don't expect the same level of domination. I kind of expect Leo to win it again, but not by this margin. Like, also the consistency here, like he was the only driver with 10 events, so when you are the fastest guy in the tier and you have at least 2 events of advantage over everyone else, it's obvious that you're going to have a big gap like this. I expect it to be a little bit less of a gap next season, but we will see. It's not like he's going to get any slower. He probably got faster during the off season, so yeah, something to look for in the highest of the tiers. And the teams, we have Aston dominating. This was really important for me, like to make clear, like I think this Aston season would have been more dominating. Like Leo and Runner were dominating massively. Almost every weekend was a 43-point weekend for them, 44, 45 sometimes maximum points. So this it is a big gap, but it should have been bigger. Kick got a good fight with Snipes, one of the few people who also won races apart from Leo, and Mercedes in P3.
It's names that you will have heard in previous seasons, names that you've heard in other tiers and stuff that are at the top, and it's just because they're quick.
Yeah, indeed they are. To be expected. Let's see how everything shakes up next season.
Yep. So moving on to tier 2, 24. Twitey won the championship with 200. Ravi in second with 167. Okay, Stelgio in third with 128 and Karasu in 111. This was a particularly strong for VCarb. It's the best tier and everything for this season for what VCarb got. Ravi just carried the whole team practically with his drive through this. Missed out on a closer and potentially winning the championship with a few unlucky moments and bit of tier 2 driving around him. Potentially losing in the championship, but in the constructors, Red Bull dominated against everyone, and RB could only do what Ravi could muster up practically. So
yeah, I think Ravi was like, he was doing what Destructo did in 2022. Like Ravi was so close due to the consistency. He lacked a little bit of luck. He was at some point leading the championship, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, he had a lot of good races during the summer, and that put him into first, and then the bad luck started occurring, and that put him on the back foot.
He did 11 races, and of those, 8 were on the podium. Like 10 races were top 5. Like he got a pole, he got wins. So yeah, I think it was just that little bit of luck, and the gap at the end makes it look like an easy win when it really wasn't. Like it was
Yeah.
a lot closer. It was just, as you said, those tiny little luck moments when it wasn't there. But the whole season they were really close. Ravi really did do a great job for Big Carb and Alpha Tauri. And the teams really shows it. Like almost single-handedly, he took Big Carb to P2. Red Bull Racing
Yeah.
ended up being the P1 with a hefty gap, 100 points. But that's mostly due to Ravi having almost no teammate contribution. McLaren in P3 and Aston in P4. Quite close, but considering Ravi was almost a one-man band, it really shows you how much he really tried it this season and did have a successful season. Even if he didn't win the championship, it was quite the season.
Yeah.
Really consistent.
And at the start of the season, he was saying that he wasn't the most confident in whether he'd be able to perform well and like stuff. And then as the season went on, he just got better and better, and just the bad luck kind of knocked what could have been an incredible season from him. But it was he had some amazing drives, and it was just those little moments where either he had a slight mistake or people around him were just being stupid, like parking on opposite sides of the track during qualifying, giving him basically no room when he's on a fast lap, and then that gets him DNF from quali. And then the race, he has good race pace, but he can't get past some people because they just don't leave him any room and stuff. So
We kind of seen
do
this.
as much.
We kind of seen this in season 7, I think it was. It was him and like Cam and Nova, and they were all fighting for the title. And he was so confident. And then in them last few races, he kept putting himself down. And
Yeah.
that's really you have to be in that championship mindset if you really want to win. Because
Yeah.
one little fault isn't going to change anything. But if you keep putting yourself down and you keep saying, "Oh, I can't do this," then you're not going to do it. And I think
Yeah.
that's what Ravi did.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see what he can do in the next season and stuff.
will.
And it'll be interesting to see what all of these drivers who have had good pace, and like Twitey and Ravi both next season, will be very interesting to watch and things.
Yeah.
I expect Ravi to be definitely at least midfield to one pace. I expect that from him. He
100%.
showed good pace in the races.
He's really consistent.
Yeah, this is one of the tiers that I think like the people who are going to get promoted are not going to be off the pace. It's not going to be like other times where people get promoted and they are near the back. Like especially with this being the first season of a new game, like tiers next season are going to be closer, and I can really see Whitey, Ravi, and Kirasu like really they are on the pace of T1. They were T1 pace towards the end. They obviously got so much better during the season, so it will be fun to see them try to knock Leo down of T1.
Yeah, I mean Karasu as well. He might have been able to get better positioning, but looking at his penalty points, he's got 14 penalty points throughout the season, which is like he has the most in the top 10. So he probably brought himself down with those penalty points. So if he does some cleaner racing next season, who knows what he'll be able to do as well.
Yeah, I think of the three, Kirasu is the one that has to work the most in the consistency, because the pace was always there. Like almost every weekend, the pace was there. I know because I have him on added, and I could see his times. Like he's never off the pace. He was really on the pace, or he was pace setting. It was just like, as you said, the penalty points. Those really bite him. Like for the amount of pace he had, one win, one P2, and one P3 sounds like a bad season. Sounds like too little. He had a lot more potential. I know it. So if he can clean that up in T1, which he should be able to, because he's now going to be in T1, not T2. This was more of a normal T2. There was carnage everywhere, and quali and the race. So maybe all he needs is a cleaner season, and then he will put it together.
Yeah, I know Ravi got a bit annoyed with Karazu at some points when Karazu wasn't being consistent and he had those mistakes, and he was one of the drivers that hindered Ravi in some cases. But it's just like one of those things that you can never tell. Like if things had gone differently, it could have gone like Twitey could have got the bad luck instead of Ravi, and championship could be very different. But you can never. It's what the ifs and buts of what could have happened. But what turned out was Twitey winning and Ravi in second.
That's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. And
Yep.
keeping up with the Red Bull domination, now we have Burb winning the T3 championship, followed by Bank 6 and his teammate Akeout, and Sly DJ putting a good season together for P4. This one was a reminder of the good old days of Mercedes fighting at the front and everybody else fighting for scraps for most of the season. The Red Bulls really came out of the gate dominating T3. There was a stretch of time where it was pole and win for Red Bull. All we needed to see was who got it, right? So it's no surprise that Burb ended up winning. Hatecout was there most of the way. He just missed nearly half the season. He only did 7 races. So to have been doing that amount of races and having won 4, like he won 1 more than Burb, really puts it into perspective. Like this could have been a lot more closer had they did all the races. Bank 6 being the best of the rest and managing a P2 when he wasn't the second fastest guy. The Red Bulls were clearly too fast. Shows it, like you can see it in the consistency. It's 1 win, 3 second places and 3 third places. So yeah, 7 races on the podium on 11 race appearances. Shows you Bank 6 was the one with the consistency on this tier, and Sly DJ, the first driver who did all the races, the only driver in fact who did all the races, managing a win and 3 P3s and not being that far off. A really good season by him for Mercedes. Any particular opinions on these drivers? Anyone?
I mean, yeah, tier 3 was like, if you take the Red Bulls out of it, it was actually quite a good season. And when I got interviewed at the end of the season, I was asked about, I got P15, but like that's because I moved to no line and I was learning no line, and I did get a fastest lap. It's not a season that was my best. It's not my worst season, and I managed to keep away from penalty points for the whole season. And 24 points, not the best, but like looking at the top, taking the Red Bulls out of it, 112, 126, 128 and 148, it's fairly close between the top drivers other than the Red Bulls. And Cald, I know, would have wanted to race more, and if he did race more, he would have been able to potentially put up more of a title fight. But it's like looking at all the other results, there were some good races. There was a good race between drivers and things, and like I was able to race against drivers without the fear of being like put out of the race, and I could go wheel to wheel in corners where it's quite risky to go wheel to wheel, but it turned out okay, and everyone drove cleanly for the most part and stuff, which shows in the like there's not too many penalty points across the board for this tier.
Yeah, to be honest, it was mostly well behaved. Almost everyone stayed below 5 pp. So yeah, it was a good season. There was domination by the Red Bulls, but next season, like all of them are going to be probably moving to T2. So let's see what happens. We also have people here who have pace to be further up. Cam was doing this like same as you. He was doing no line. So we have people like doing no line. We have people doing ABS traction control. Like it's there's a lot of variety in the aids that people use, and still you manage to have like good racing and not a lot of crashes. I think it speaks highly of the tier. There were like some particular crashes like that were really mostly due to drivers like getting angry at each other, but that's expected when you're driving a competitive game, and yeah, it was a good season overall, I think. Obviously, Red Bull dominated the team championship, and yeah, we have like it's going to be a good season. I think this Red Bull domination, especially with those two drivers, I want to see them moving up. The Astons were fairly quick too, like LXK and Bank Six both managed to win a race, same as the McLarens. But I think the Astons were overall quicker, at least more consistent. I don't know if it's quicker, but definitely more consistent. Bank Six was, after all, the most consistent driver in the tier. So yeah, we need to wait and see. A lot of people of here are going to be moving up. Cam already moved up himself when he went back to using line. So yeah, let's see what everybody does in T2 in the future. And now the CCC, the story of the whole season. After a long time, Aston not winning it, and it has to be said, there had to be a cap penalty for it to become possible. The standings, I don't think, show how close it really was due to what happened in Jeddah with the disqualifications. But like less than 100 points and having like a really big penalty speaks of the amount of like the team that Aston had. Like you cannot look at Aston and say, oh, there's the weak link. Like even T2 that ended up being the tier with the less amount of points, you could argue they are quite strong. So yeah, a really good season. Red Bull in P3, Ferrari beating Williams to P4, and this did end up going to the last week of the season, if I recall correctly, like the Ferrari Williams rivalry. So yeah, a really nice season. T1 obviously in 23 with the longer season having the most amount of points as the T2, but yeah, you can clearly see here that for the most part it was a competitive season, and some teams did better in some games or tiers, and yeah, let's see how everything goes next season, with us moving to a different format, right? I think it's time to speak about it, the different format.
Talk about the draft.
Yes, sir. We are now moving away from the budgets. Some people might like it, some people might not, some people might love it, and some of us don't know what we are going to do. Yeah. We have a 12 race season again, so yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a shorter season. For 23 at least, it was 16 races. It was a grueling season. And
Just
the draft,
means my record won't be beaten.
yeah, lucky. And now we have a different format, a draft format. Going back to the CCC, the CCC is going to determine the draft order, right? So we're going to be going from the bottom to the top. So Haas has the first pick. Alpine is going to have second pick. Alpha Tauri Vicar third. Alpha is going to have the fourth pick. Mercedes the fifth. Williams the sixth. Then Ferrari, Red Bull, Aston Martin, and at the end McLaren. We're going to be using a snake draft. Some people might already know what that is. It's basically the first round is going to be the order that I just told you. The next round is going to be reversed. So whoever has the first pick in one round is going to have the last one in the next round. And we're going to be going that way until we have the lineups set. The TPs that drive,
I think it's about 9 of the 10.
they are going to be assigned to their tiers before the draft starts. I think this is a big advantage to our friend Leo, who's here with us.
Hello.
Because he's going to be getting the best 23 and the best 24 driver before the draft starts. But
Oh, I wanted to pick Leo.
Well, you got to wake up earlier for that. Sorry.
I have to get there before the draft even opens. I have to sign in before then.
Nah, mate, you should have stopped me going to Red Bull.
Man is speed running, winning a championship with every single team.
He actually is. If
Yeah,
he,
Yeah,
each
like
week
he
he has to drive for a
started
different
Aston
team.
Martin, went to McLaren, now he's at Red Bull.
if he wasn't
Next
a
is a V
TP,
carb.
if he
Next
wasn't
is
a
Ferrari.
TP, I'm sure he will be driving for two different teams. He will be driving for Red Bull in one tier and Ferrari in the next one, and then Williams and Mercedes, and he will be going season by season.
I mean, technically, you could drive for V carb as well because he's still technically TP of V carb.
I'm
Essentially,
not
'cause Red
Helmut
Bull own
Marko.
V
Hello.
carb.
We're not going to get into if he's Marco of his corner. We should leave that.
Hey, I got the WhatsApp text messages ready for my drivers. You know.
Okay. That's something that's going to
That's
make some
staying in.
people. Yes, that some people might not want to go to Red Bull after that, but okay. Uh, so yeah, so it's basically that is the order. Well, I think Leo has the most advantage in that front, but let's see what he does because he's going to have like the 8th
I would say
pick.
McLaren do, no? McLaren get to choose 2 picks back to back. That could be
Bias.
useful.
So the Haas.
Yes, I
I
mean,
mean, Haas is later in the thing though, so
in the snake draft, typically people want like the edge picks, right? Like first, second, 9 and 10th. But I
Yeah.
think with Leo being assigned to Red Bull before the draft, I think that is like he's not in too bad of a position to get a good lineup because he already has 2 top drivers, and then he's
It's
going
too
to
front-
have
essentially.
he's going to have the 8th and the 13th best driver. So he already has 4 drivers after 2 rounds. But let's see, like he may know to evaluate talent, but he cannot pick everyone he wants. So maybe he gets to pick 8, and they already took someone he wanted as a teammate, or maybe they
Yeah.
don't.
He'll, he'll just train up another guy.
Yeah, he probably will, but
Yeah, but Academy.
I mean, to be honest,
The
the
Leo
draft
Academy, yeah.
is now the new system we wanted because Aston Martin kept dominating. They just signed the biggest drivers, got the biggest pen, and still won, you know. And I think that was the biggest problem, which we will not solve with this draft system. I mean, you can approach drivers, you can go to the drivers and say, "You want to drive for me," but you can't guarantee a seat for the driver, you know. In my position, I now get the 8th and the 13th pick for the 2. So if someone takes my drivers right after I made the decision to take another driver than I wanted for the first pick, I'm basically very much in trouble for
Which I
my
will.
team. Yes, I know you will, McLaren, piece of something. Yeah, you just
Careful, that
gotta
was
gotta
almost
see
community
what
service.
is over. Yeah, sorry, community service is coming in. Yeah, I think it's a good system to start with, and I think there's a lot of improvement that can be going on as soon as we started to understand the system. Everyone.
It's all.
not only
It's
us.
also about ironing out the league as well. Obviously, there's
Yeah.
been hints and slander of sandbagging in the past, and the draft will completely like eradicate that because even if you tell a driver, "Look, don't go your full pace," it doesn't matter. You're not guaranteed that driver.
Exactly.
Like all the TPs will have a list of drivers that they can pick from. I'm guessing they'll have the stats of their time trials, but yeah, it's going to
Yeah,
be
well-
like a look at the draw. So all of that will be eradicated, and then it'll run smoother, and nobody can accuse anybody of anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the draft is going to be better because it's a change of scenery. We've been running this value system ever since I joined the league, and it gets a bit boring because the budgeting does get hard, and then when you have people like Aston, like McLaren, who like either they'll like substitute one driver for one tier and then get a massive god team and just hope to God that they all do well. It kind of makes it unfair for the rest of us because like with I'll use Mercedes as an example. Or I'll use Alfa Romeo. For Alfa Romeo last season, we couldn't get a full grid because no one wanted to drive. But Mercedes, Ferrari, Aston, they were able to get whoever they wanted, and all they had to do was substitute a few points per tier, and then they were fine. But with the draft system, it gets rid of it. It makes it a bit more fair for the rest of us to be able to get who we want instead of having to pray that someone wants to drive for us.
No. We are
I
very
agree.
limited as well with the budget system because, from my perspective, it was just so high to sign a champion from tier 2, tier 1.
Oh, yeah.
Like, my value would have been like 47 million or something. Like, we work with
50.
that. Nah, not 50, not 50. But Finn's value from last season, 38, and so goes it on. Like we only had a few millions available for each tier. You can say that lightly, but one driver costs you two if you take a champion, you know.
Mhm.
And with that system, definitely helps.
It also makes it so that both tiers are combined instead of having two different budgets for each tier. So when we were getting champions last season, we only had a budget of 100 for 4 drivers, and the champion cost about 40. So you'd be sat there scrounging for whoever you could at the very end, trying to get a decent grid setup. Whereas now
Yeah.
we can just try and get whoever, and
Yeah, I
don't
mean
have to
that's
worry about
what
it in the
McLaren
penalties.
did, eh?
Yeah, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that has to be said. Like, if you look at the standings, McLaren and Aston have a big gap to Red Bull, and those are the
So
two
different.
teams. Yeah, those are the two teams that like try to be smart with the rules. Welshy tried to go with 3 drivers because he couldn't let go of Leo because let's be honest, whoever gets him is not going to be letting go of him.
It's guaranteed
So
championship.
yeah, at the moment he got Leo, it was either 3 really cheap drivers and try to not go over the board, or just do 3 good ones and try to go on with that. So we ended up with a Mexican being alone in a garage the whole season. And Aston went the other way. You said, okay, penalize me. I don't care. I will claw it back with the good drivers. So yeah, I think the moment you have a system that can be exploited in some ways and it ends up being more beneficial to who exploits it that way, I think it has to change. Like, and as people said, like, not accusing anyone in particular of it, but the moment people start pointing fingers and saying, "Oh, sandbagging," "Oh, he's not." His value is not correct. He should be worth more, or "Oh, this guy's value is too high. He cannot get a competent teammate." It's like, what do you do? Do you raise the value? Do you not? And also, like, there is a thing. There is people in 24 who literally hate the Ferrari engine. So
Yeah.
yeah, that is a thing, I think, too. Like, you can see in the standings that the teams that struggle the most in 24 are mostly the ones with Ferrari engines. Uh, Leaving aside Ferrari, who did well and managed to put a complete team, like, some people might just say, "No, I don't want to drive that engine." And with these systems, like, they now can do that too, but they will be left without a drive. So it gives the teams that for whatever reason people don't want to go to, it gives them a fighting chance, because like some people sometimes we were just a little bit like too harsh with some teams, and that is not fair. Like, it's not like the teams in the bottom 3, 4, 5 are worse or anything. It's just that people sometimes they didn't want to go there. So
You pretty much took the words out of my mouth. I was just about to say, also with this new draft system, it gives teams that would never have thought they had a chance of winning the combined constructors championship a chance. Like maybe surprise V Carb win, maybe Aston
Yes,
finishes
please.
P10. Like you never know with the randomness of what drivers are going to get selected to which team.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, it
exactly.
makes up the whole
Especially
roster.
F1 24 now. I think we all know Haas first choice. I don't have to say it.
yeah,
The only guy that was close to me. Okay, yeah, Maav, you go to Haas. The only guy that was definitely, I would say, will be able to absolutely set an end to my F1 24 dominance is Zouti. I think we all know he's going to Haas if he wants to, and
Yeah,
that's
there
just
might be
also
some
the system, you
controversies
know.
that may occur with
And that's
things
also
happening,
saying
but we
like
shall
you have a
see.
Haas winning out of nowhere, you know. And to be honest, I was driving for Aston and it got boring. Straight out like that. Like, you know, it's nice to see other teams win. It's nice to see competitiveness and everything. We're not here to dominate the whole season. Well, yes, easy for me to say that. Okay, I take the blame. But still, it's more fun to have a close fight, you know, have a good time, and not only race Aston Martin, McLaren, or Red Bull. You want to race a Williams as well. You want to race a Mercedes as well. You want to race the Alfa Romeo. Well, not the Alfa Romeo, but the V Carb as well. Well, the Alpine as well, and the Haas. But Alfa Romeo, this definitely gives me some feelings I cannot explain very
That
well.
Sauber is atrocious.
Community survey, nah. But
That's
no,
community service, Welshy. That's disgusting.
honestly, and I think it's a good system, and with that, I'm gonna leave it.
I want to bring up one point that I'm pretty sure is getting brought in from this draft. If your driver doesn't show up for 2 races, they instantly get kicked and they can't reserve for the rest of the season. I just want people's thoughts on that because personally, I think it's a great idea. It gives the drivers that incentive that I need to be here for my team. I can't back out of this. I've already started this. So I just want people's ideas.
It's a bit harsh. Like,
I think
it's
that's
something-
harsh, Destructo.
Yeah, you go,
No,
Monkey.
but you have
Yeah.
you have to look at it from a bottom team's perspective. So look at it from Haas last season. They had
Okay.
143
Or
points.
Alfa Romeo.
Right, be quiet for 2 seconds. But look at it, just for Welshy's sake, but look at Alfa Romeo. I was the only consistent driver that was there for every single race. I was the only person there that was there every race, and we got the most points in that tier. We had 23. We had tier 3, 26 points, tier 2, 21, and then we had 165 for tier 1 because there was no tier 1s, and then 23 tier 1. We had 11 points because we couldn't get. There was no drivers. They didn't want to race because there was no one there. There needs to be that sense that I need to be here for my team. I can't back out of this.
Yeah, but look,
And I think
if they have 2 races only to show if they can make it or not, like we had a very big problem with the driver LXK last season, Aston Martin. I was literally not happy with him. He ignored us, didn't speak to us. At the end, of course, he always explained it, and I understood it. But in the situation, you were like, "What is my driver doing? What is he? Where is he?" And I don't know. It gives a toxic kind of feeling if you say like in the rules already, like show up for don't show up for 2 races and you're getting kicked and can't drive for the whole season. I mean, of course, the drivers has to know when the season starts, the team expects a good attendance. That's the way to win. That's the way to get points. But
well, it's not.
I think it's not.
they don't
It's not the
show-
way to the 2 races. I think 3 is a better one.
Is it
It's
like
not that if they don't show up for 2. It's that if it's like unexcused and they don't say anything to their team principal. So if I was to miss 2 races, say nothing, then
Yeah.
I would get kicked. But if I had an excuse, like I was away somewhere, I was sick, something like that, then I'd stay. I would give that excuse. But it's
I
just
think-
so that there's less people that are just sat there, like occupying an empty seat at that
I
point.
think I could get on board with it if it was like 4 races, like 2 races without saying a word. Yeah, it's understandable. But I think 4 races should be like the maximum because then that's a third of the season. If you've not got a driver
No.
turning up for a third of the season, that's too much. Then yeah, they lose their
I-
seat immediately.
I think 3 is the best one because 4 is already a lot for a team. I think
Yeah.
to make a rule that the team can unsign a driver after 3 races not showing up is a good thing. You know what I mean?
I
It's a
mean,
good middle mark.
yeah,
They do say 3 is the magic number.
it can be a good middle. Like, is the rule right now like after 2 races without getting back? Is it automatic or does the team have the choice of kicking them?
I'm pretty sure.
I think the team has
it
a
might be
choice, right?
automatic. No, I think it's automatic now because they're going to get reserves in instantly. I'm pretty sure
Okay.
that's what Charles had said because obviously we can't be sending people mid-season. We can't just be
Okay.
unsending someone for no reason. So they're going to get a reserve in instantly for us, I think.
I think
I would like to
never
bring.
run that.
I want to bring something up real quick. There is also a topic Trelly was bringing up that if you sign a driver, let's say for example Leo signs Monkey, and it turns out, but
Hey.
it turns out behind the scenes, Leo and Monkey have had a disagreement, and Monkey really doesn't like Leo and doesn't want to do anything he says or just hates him.
no, that's true.
Monkey will get that option to
He's
go
gonna get
to.
banned.
Monkey would get that option to choose not to drive for that particular team if he reaches out to Trelly or an admin, I believe. Does
Yeah, I
anybody
mean-
know about that?
Yeah, no, but
I heard
that's just
about that.
obvious.
What I
Yeah.
heard was it was in like extreme circumstances.
Yeah.
It's not like what you say. It's if it's just a falling out and it's just a small thing and it can get resolved, then it won't. But if it's like a major thing where like they physically will not get on for like multiple weeks and whatnot, or before in previous seasons where they've just not got on, I think that's more what it's like.
I've
But
just thought of like a really
depends.
good example here. So we all know 24 tier 2. You had Kirzin, you had Mito arguing every single week. If them two were sides of the same team, I don't think the team would be extremely toxic to like just them two. The morale would be down. So one of them would have to move. One of them would have to be like, yeah, no, I'm not staying here.
No,
How
I
would
think
we
that's the
stop
best option you can do. Definitely, if a situation that toxic ever happens, I think that's the best thing you can do. Like separate the 2 drivers, send them to a team that will lose a driver anyways, because that's how you can deal with it as well. I mean, if the driver doesn't get suspended for not being there, it's a fair option to say, yeah, if you don't get along with really toxic reasons and everything, like if we take a look, as you said, with Carazo and Maido, or Stelcio and Carazo, which was very heated in Mexico. If they would be drafted as teammates, I hope no one does that. I'm praying for it.
I'll just do it for jokes.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
V-Cup's not going to win anyway, so don't worry.
Oh,
Disrespectful.
Shots
The
fired.
heating is there.
Right, but here's another thing. So if you know that two drivers have a history with each other, just don't make them teammates.
Yeah.
Like that's the simple solution. Don't
Yeah,
make
it's
them
the
teammates.
same as the
Yeah, but
driver not
how are
wanting
you
a team.
supposed to know as a new TP, you know?
It's
And
the
as
same.
a new TP that you don't know, but
No.
you can ask like an admin and stuff. You'd be like, have these two like had any sort of disagreement recently?
No.
Is it bad if I sign these two?
I mean,
That's
That's how you could do it.
to be honest, that's his responsibility of the PTP, isn't it? Like, if I'm racing to someone to drive for me, I'm first of all I'm asking if they want to drive, because I don't want to waste a pick in someone who doesn't want to drive for me, and then we'll ask like, who do you don't want to be your teammate? Like, because if you draft someone who isn't a good match for your driver, you're basically wasting two picks, because they are not going to try. It's one of the things. They are going to try harder to beat them, or they are just don't going to care. So it's like it's a toss up, and I think, well, as most things, it can be solved by asking before, right?
Yeah, just the communication is key as always.
that's a sign of a good TP there, Mav. Well done.
Glazing
You
is
can-
unreal. Anyways, we
Yeah.
should move on, eh?
So yeah, any predictions? Let's do this. Any driver you think is going to
Leo's
like-
winning any championship he's in.
Yeah,
I-
Leo.
yeah,
I
Leo
don't
that's an
think
easy
so.
prediction.
I don't think Leo will
He's-
win
Any
both.
predictions?
He's not winning 23 tier 1 because Destructo is winning that, but yeah.
Oh yes, of course.
Again? Who's that?
I think
I think
Zauti
I
or
should just bring
Runner
some, like,
will
just contact some
outrun
pros.
Leo to the 24 championship this time.
I agree.
I mean,
The specialty, I'm turning offline. I lost a lot of pace at the
Oh.
moment. I'm getting used to the new rig, so I got a lot of excuses on my list.
I thought you said
Well, you don't have the excuse that I have. I'm no line and I'm on controller. Controller full stop just makes it worse.
Yeah, but when you
Yeah.
play on controller, your desk doesn't fall to pieces while you're mid race.
I mean,
Yeah,
it might
no,
probably
the
still
problem
will,
right now
but,
is
you know.
just I think Zouti has definitely the upper hand. Zouti is extremely quick. He is maybe the quickest guy I've ever raced, without a say.
Yeah, he
If
has
he
a
wouldn't
real
spin
chance.
and be stupid in some occasions, I think he could have definitely
Community
challenged me already this
service.
season.
We also got to
Uh,
talk about Charlie. If he still races 23, he
Oh, if
potentially
Charlie
could
races
win that one.
23, he's gonna be a title contender again.
hey man, Mashaki. They're both gonna be up there.
Mishaki and Mishaki might step down a bit. He definitely sweated the last season.
Is Cam racing next season? Does anyone know?
I think
He
Cam is
doesn't
racing,
know.
isn't he?
he doesn't
He-
know.
Oh no! Wait! It was all the way around. He said he doesn't know because he wants also to do well in 24.
Gotta have priorities sometimes, so I can see why he would choose to step down from 23.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
as one of the few people who did both games, I can recommend not doing that at all. I think
Me
Antacid
too.
dropped it towards the end, didn't he? Like he even started not attending 24 races because like I can see why.
Yeah.
I really started struggling so much more when we started doing both games. They are just too different. Like, so you have to pick like, are you going to do 23 and beat Leo in T1, or are you going to do 24 and beat Leo in T1? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
The biggest problem as well
Also known
for the
as- we
24
should get
game.
T2s in there.
what?
Get T2s crash Leo out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, let's
It's not a
not
bad
do
idea.
that.
It's not a bad idea. I mean,
No, but the biggest
heard of a
problem with
blue flag
24
before.
is
Just put
definitely
Karasu in,
all the handling changes.
T1.
You know,
I will probably draft Maido round 1 just to crash Leo out.
can we not crash me out? Thank you. Now, but the
We
biggest
can get a
problem for
safety car to do that, you know.
It's Sam. Leo.
I can't do this.
Let's do a
Leo's
crash.
just like-
It was the
Leo's
third
just
time.
not allowed to talk.
Okay.
Let's do a crash.
Bro's getting crashed out. Yeah,
We
okay,
could
I
just
see.
mute him. Mav, we could just mute him and then he can't talk at all on the podcast.
Oh, ha. Now, but
That's a good
I
shout.
think the biggest problem with 24 is the handling changes that were made now again. I really hope people like it because at the moment I'm really struggling with it. I don't know if you have any experience with it, but yeah,
Yeah, it's awful.
I'm looking more forward to the 23 game at the moment than the 24.
I didn't even know that the handling changed, so I don't know if I have.
Yeah, I haven't.
How did you not know?
played.
They change it every week, Mav.
They change it every week.
I
This
haven't-
time
I mean, I
it's-
haven't played, so I don't know what it feels like.
I played.
Handling model 12.
I played what? I played this week. Did I use the change one?
Yes, you did. You told me,
Oh.
oh, it looks so much better.
Oh, I mean,
Sorry
yeah,
for the
but
accent. You didn't deserve that.
yeah, fuck you.
That's a violation.
Community
Hey!
service.
Community
Damn.
service.
Don't report me.
That's life, eh?
Yeah. Anyway,
Sorry.
it doesn't matter. I mean, looking at the calendar, you see what stands out to me is round 4. We know Leo's going to crash in the turn 4, lap 1.
Oh my god.
So yeah, that's a race for Saudi to lose. I think it's
Oh,
one
you're
of
talking
the-
about the McLaren corner.
Yeah, that one. I don't want to speak about it. Let's just say Leo crashed there. Leave me alone.
Yeah, just Leo, not 4 McLaren
Oh, yeah.
drivers.
Yeah, just Leo.
Every McLaren driver touched that wall once in his life.
75% of the lineup died in that corner. The-
It's like you're
Literally,
going to
DNF.
Amsterdam. Anyways,
Yeah, looking at the calendar, I think it's one of the better ones. I think it's the one, like, it's obviously subjective, right? Like, personal preference and all that. But I think 12 races, and it's a really good one. We start in December, basically, and end up in February. I think it's really good timing. It's a really good length, good tracks, and also Abu Dhabi.
And a fan not favourite making a return in Melbourne, Australia.
Yeah,
yeah,
get out of here.
Melbourne's great.
I wonder
Shut
to
up.
I
pick
agree.
that.
Melbourne is a good track,
The-
especially on the 24 game. On the 23 game, it's a bit of luck needed for the tricky turn 16. But
Yeah, we
you know,
need
you
to go
just
back
gotta
to
lick the stomach
2021
send it
Melbourne.
sometimes.
The only thing I'm excited for is Interlagos finishing again.
Yeah,
You know,
I
Oh, yeah,
maybe
true.
Silverstone,
Maybe
Singapore, and
you'll-
Interlagos is a really nice stretch to
Could be
finish the
triple header.
season. Yeah,
It feels a
Think
bit
you
like a
count
triple
Melbourne.
header.
I mean it's a
and-
12 header, isn't it? But yeah,
Yeah, I think the people from that like the biology are not liking this calendar. If you look at how we would have to fly every
yes.
race.
I was just
From
looking at that.
Austin to Dubai
Global-
to
global
Portimao
warming
to
is
Jeddah to
ridiculous.
Spielberg.
All the way
Very
from
fun.
Australia to Britain.
Oh yes.
and
you know
And
the
then
one thing I
back-
do. The one thing I don't like about this calendar is how there's no China or Vegas on here. You know, those two
Shut
good
up.
tracks.
China
No.
was shocking.
China's
China's
horrible.
great.
China's alright.
if you could
Nah,
put
yeah,
China instead of Abu Dhabi, it would be perfect.
Yeah.
No,
Agreed,
Abu Dhabi's
agreed.
great.
Like,
You're
Let's
just-
get Abu
That's
Dhabi
right.
out of here.
literally
Yours is
any
not.
other track other than Abu Dhabi, bro.
It's
Yours
Oh
is
my
not.
god, is
Yours
he
is not.
loud?
it's Abu Dhabi.
I would take Miami over Abu
Oi,
Dhabi.
oi, oi. Okay, now it's better.
Oh, no. No, Abu Dhabi is lethal. Like,
Yeah.
China is so bad. It's so boring.
We need to
I-
take
I-
Jeddah off and put Vegas on.
Good thing you are retired.
Oh man. Now that my opinion, it's a good calendar. It's
Yeah,
really
I
a
think-
I
solid
just need,
calendar.
I just
Yeah,
need a
yeah,
calendar
yeah.
where mid-season I don't have 4 races in a row where I crash into a sticky out bit of a wall where the stewards are standing, or not stewards, marshals are standing, because that got me so many times on street circuits and I hate it. On 24, 23 it's fine. 24, just those corners, just get rid of me.
Skill issue.
It sounded like
Yeah, but also
in
no.
an interview.
No, but this calendar, it seems, in my opinion, is better than last season's, because last season,
Bahrain's gone.
the idea, but right, that too. But the idea for the calendar last season was we're gonna do tracks that we haven't done in a while, and that's not really good because we missed out on Interlagos, we missed out on like all of the fun tracks that we used to do like every single season. That was like the pinnacle of URFL. Interlagos as a last race, or like even like a mid-season race. It was always that's what always stood out to me. Just having like that one race weekend in Brazil where you never knew what was gonna happen. It was either gonna rain or it was gonna. You never know.
Someone goes
Um,
from P17 to P1.
I wonder who did that recently.
who did what?
I
They
heard
went from 17th to 1st in Britain.
Yeah. I mean, safety car.
they went from first to 17th in in Interlagos.
Didn't we do the same strat? Like,
I went
we both
nowhere
went
to
off, right?
never fast.
Pretty sure. I don't even remember.
Mav,
Not me.
Soon.
Yeah, I think we both went soft, and I only won
I,
because they disqualified the one guy.
oh yeah, because he was too quick.
Yeah. Oh no, I don't
Right?
know. No, I think
Yeah, that was
no.
baskets. The
Oh, no,
Mercedes.
you beat him. You beat him
No,
because you
yeah,
got that penalty.
yeah. He had like 8 seconds, something like that, right? Isaac
Yeah,
was
because
was the one in front. Yeah.
yeah, that's what it was. Because then we had that safety car that put you like right beside each other.
Hey, Mav, I know you might have some PTSD, but what are you feeling about round 5 for next season?
Oh yes,
I don't
round
have
five.
PTSD. I love Spielberg. I love Austria. Like
I
you know
hate it. It's the worst track to play
love
on the
it.
games.
I
I actually
love
can't lie. It's the worst track.
It is
I
so.
just
It's so
cannot get
simple.
on with it.
No, it's so simple. It's so fun. I don't see how
I
anyone
can
could hate
do the
Austria.
hard tracks. I can do Monaco. I can do Hungary. I
Hungary's not
can't
hard.
do Spielberg.
If you ever
It's
find it Hungary hard, you might want to find a
terrible.
new passion.
the skill issue.
I have a very similar problem though. Like my pace at Spielberg was slower than Cam's, and that says it all. Anyways,
Wash.
no, but Spielberg
You know
is a
what they
good
should
track.
do? They should
But
replace Austria with Bahrain.
I love Austria.
Oh, yeah.
No, definitely
are you
not.
crazy? No, no,
No.
no, no,
What's
no.
wrong with
Definitely not
Bahrain?
Oh
No,
no,
definitely
you've mentioned
not.
Leo,
Bahrain.
what's wrong with
You mentioned
Bahrain?
Please don't.
I'm
Please
community
don't.
service.
Yeah, yeah. No, I love Austria so
I
much.
think-
It just doesn't love me back.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's
I
a good
think
explanation.
Bahrain's a great track. We should have it every single race of the season.
An
Austria
interesting
lovely
track
It would
we
mean
have on
Leo
the
doesn't
calendar
win.
is Canada.
It
No?
means Leo doesn't win a
Oh.
championship.
I don't think.
Montreal. I love Montreal. It's
I
my
hate
first ever
Montreal. It's
URFL
an
win was there.
absolute love-hate relationship with Montreal.
Can we
I
have
absolutely
Sanford at every race?
Sanford is a
Last
good one.
Montreal's where, like I said, I got my first win there, and it's another track that's heavy on track limit violations. Like when I won, everybody else had 30 seconds of penalties.
If they're going quick and you're going slow, doesn't matter, right?
Oh.
Well, it matters who finishes first at the end, right?
That is
Mm.
true.
I mean, my favorite race was Zandvoort last season 8.
Oh,
Won
so
by
boring.
we're not talking about that.
0.03 seconds.
It was actually you won by
yeah.
like 6 seconds because I got them like.
Yeah,
10
but
seconds of penalties after.
I'm not accounting for the penalty, but it was like 0.003 of a second.
Okay,
So-
but at the same time, we could have reported you, because
I mean, yeah, but I
almost
wasn't
casting us, like, 6 times.
I wasn't intending it like that, but yes, you could have easily done it like that.
We didn't because.
Anyway,
we're-
moving on.
we're just-
So we got Austin, Portimao, Spielberg, Montreal, Alessa, Melbourne, and Interlagos. All really big track limits tracks.
But we say Singapore.
very easy.
I would add Singapore as well. Like
Yeah, I would
honestly,
add
in the
Singapore.
24 game, especially, you know that sector
If you
2
run off the
coming
track
out
in
of sector
Singapore,
2,
you're in the
You
wall.
run, yeah,
going
you
to
run
the
on
right
track in
and then
Singapore,
to
you're in the
the
wall.
You can-
There's no
straight,
track
you know?
limits. It's wall or on
No,
the track.
No, you can get track limits. Like
You
first
can
co-
absolutely
yeah.
I
get
mean,
track
turn
limit.
5, yeah.
No, one.
It's probably the main one.
It-
last
No,
corner maybe.
sector 3, mate.
It's
sector
1, 2.
3,
Yeah,
especially.
sector 3.
the exit.
Oh,
the
after
exit of
Cookie
three.
sector 3. Sector 3.
After the
I
bridge.
find sector 3 really nice.
You guys remember where Lennon Norris nearly binned it?
Yeah. After the
Yeah,
bridge.
that
the right
corner
turn.
in the F1 game, the track limit is already when you go over that little white line. Like you have to steer to the right out of the corner to not get a track limit. That's at least how it is in 23.
Yeah, it's so stupid. I don't see why it's like that though.
No, I don't know either, but track is the track, you know. You
Yeah,
can't
how-
complain about this track that's there since 2008.
How ta-
But no, Singapore's always an interesting race. It's where I got my first win of URFL. It's always really interesting. Like even in the wet, it's still fun to drive, which is it can't really be said for some tracks. Like if you go to like
Yeah, you can
Zandvoort,
still run
I
no
don't really
wings
enjoy
around
that
there as
in the
well
wet.
when it's wet.
Yeah, even
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
We have
There's more of a variety.
we've done like Singapore the last 2 seasons, haven't we? Like season 8 and season 9.
Yeah, we did.
And-
see it
and-
now.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's a go to track.
They both were like at least in T3 and then T2. There were great races. Like it's always good for racing. You don't need a safety car. You can get one, and it's going to be obviously closer, but you don't need it to have a good racer. Like you're always fighting someone or getting away from someone or catching someone. It's a nice track to race. It is a little bit. It's stressful, obviously, because it's a street race.
Unpredictable.
Yeah,
Because
but
you never know if it's going to be dry or wet. There's never inters. It's absolutely like madness wet or it's dry.
yeah, it is.
The only thing
It's a bit like Interlagos as well, you know.
Yeah.
The only thing that I remember from season 8 Singapore is when Trellis locked up so bad that he slammed DJ in the
Oh, yeah.
He absolutely killed him, and he's just like, "Oh,
Oh.
my bad." Like on the clip, he just goes, "Oh,"
I was in a call with him during that race. I
I
was his
think I
race
killed him.
engineer. Mav was there too, and he said, I might be getting a penalty. Oh, why? Did you go off the track? No, I just punted Sly DJ into a wall.
It's the only reason I won because he was the only one without a penalty as well. So he'd
I was
absolutely
very
robbed
mad at
me.
him at the time.
Wasn't that
It was so
the
fun.
race I had my run in with? Who was it? What was the name of the guy? Husky? It
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
It was our
Yeah,
season 8
that's-
lineup.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Husky and Sly DJ were the... No, Bank 6? Bank 6? Bank
No,
6.
Bank six.
it was us. Oh yeah, it was Bank. Yeah,
Season 7. Yeah, season 7 was Sly in our team.
yeah.
Well, in
Season
Aston
8,
Martin,
season
sorry.
8 was Husky and
Communism.
I think
Anyways. Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
getting confused here.
Interlagos. I mean, it's a really fun one.
If there is a tier that goes down to Interlagos as the last race of the season, it's destined for greatness. It just is.
I
Because-
got a perfect video for that ready. Don't worry.
I don't know
Oh, do you?
because like in 24, Interlagos is just stay in the train. That's literally it. Stay in the
Well,
But
train.
that's literally the
every
game.
track.
That's what you do at
That's
every track.
No, but
yeah, that's
it,
every track. It's 10 the train.
no, in Interlagos it's even more. Like it's like I don't know how to say it. Like you can feel it even more at Interlagos. Maybe because of the long straight, or I don't know because I don't know why, but it's a lot of that. So it's going to be if someone in 24 goes to that race fighting for a championship, it's going to be interesting because they can either go with a lot of downforce and pray, or go with less downforce and try to not get left behind. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting race, and it's also one of those that it's a 50-50 between if it rains or not.
But on 23, it's also really interesting because in season 8, when we had our final in Interlagos, we had that insanely early safety car, and a certain person had to go on the mediums for about 25 laps, and he still made it out and won the championship. So it's that sort of like diversity in strategy, because sometimes like someone could just spin off in the turn 1 cause safety car on like lap 14, and someone could be on hards going to the mediums, and then everyone else would swap over, and it just creates that changing. It's because with some tracks, it's just you'll go, everyone's running the same strategy. It's a bit boring, but with Interlagos, it's different.
I don't think anyone ever runs the same strategy as me, but that's because I just run the most.
That's because you went soft, hard, medium every single race. That's why.
No, I
the
don't do
hell?
that every single race. I don't. That is not true. I mean, I do make some questionable
Murder
choices
him.
sometimes. Not that bad every race.
Pretty sure I seen you go to the wets in Canada when it was bone dry.
That might have just been a
Like,
bug in the
it was
game, to be
bad.
fair. That might have been me getting a wet track while you all have a dry track. Because I've had that before. I've had it before when I've just been playing with my friends, but I've had it, I think, once or twice in the league, and it's like, what's the point of this bug? Why is this still in the game after a year? So,
Yeah.
Map going into streaks in Monaco in the rain.
That
I mean,
could've
there's also
cost
my
you
Singapore strategy choice of running low for a dry track, let alone a wet track, and then still managing to fluke P3. So
Yeah,
some strategies end up working for me. Sometimes, not so much.
Yes, Singapore. Yeah, Singapore is just like you never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, anything
That's
can
why it's so
work in
fun.
Singapore.
You could be running 50-50 wings or 0-0, and
yeah, it's
well, maybe not 0-0.
it's really
Maybe
unpredictable.
like 40-35 or something, or 38-30. Trying to remember what my wings were. They were just
There are
ridiculous.
definitely a lot
Ridiculously
of
low.
ridiculous wings I've heard, especially from my teammate Cam. Suddenly they did work when I
Stop
tried
it.
them the second time.
You don't have any right to say anything after the wins you made me use at Mexico.
Honestly, that's your own fault. I said don't use them if you think they're too high. You said you had good pace, so stop whining McLaren TP and get on with it.
I always have good pace. Just not at
No, you don't.
Well,
Yeah,
what about
sorry.
Mexico then? Because you don't
Without
seem to
me,
have
you
good
wouldn't
pace
have
then.
won.
Yeah, what about
Easy as
Mexico?
that. Oh,
oh
Mexico?
Ooh.
yeah.
But we can always talk about Bahrain for Leo. So
We can
Yeah, I
also
mean-
talk about what do you guys think was the best race of the season in especially the tiers.
Oh, good question.
Ooh.
I think I loved the Tier 3 race in Mexico.
Oh,
I agree. It was an interest race. The Aston Martin was quite on your tail, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was really good in Sector 2, but his wings were far too high. Like whenever we got to the straight, he would burn DRS and ERS, and I would have neither, and I was still out. But also the LW, was his name LWB, the Red Bull?
LWS.
Burp.
Yeah,
Yeah, even with Burb, when he was battling with Burb, and it was us three bombing it up that straight, the Aston was the one that came out the worst. He just had no speed on the straight. But there was also plenty of wheel-to-wheel racing that race. Turns 1, 2, 3, even 4, 5, 6, wheel to wheel, and it was very clean as well. It was like the cleanest Tier 3 race I've ever been a part of.
Yeah, until I was up against some driver who gave me no space on like 5 corners in a row.
All I
That
hear
was
is crying.
annoying.
Anyways, we move on. The Tier 1. I'm going to do my favorite race of the whole season in 24 and 23, Abu Dhabi 23. I think due to my medical situation in that moment, my table just damaged my foot because it broke down mid Las Vegas race on another league. I still won that race. Yes, but it was very intense against the two Aston Martins. So from my perspective, and from the competitiveness of everyone, Oka's comeback, of course, which makes it a GOAT reason to remember the race. Yeah, I think Abu Dhabi was definitely one of the best to watch. Mel streamed that, I think.
Which was it the last race of the season in Tier 2, Mav, where you got your P3? It was like a McLaren 2 and 3, I think. Was it Japan?
Japan Tier 2.
Japan Tier 2. I mean, it was a good race. It was, I don't know, like I'm trying
Very
to think.
climactic ending.
I'm trying to think. Like, it's easy for me to pick that one because it's the only one I did good at in the whole fucking season. Community service. But
Well,
like,
obviously, you're gonna look at the race where you won the championship as the best race, because that's what I would do. I would say that Brazil was my favorite race.
no,
in
he's
season eight.
meaning in 24.
You won a
in
championship?
in tier 2 in 24.
Oh, in 24.
yeah.
That's my bad.
Yeah, no,
My bad.
but in T2 in 24, I don't know. I might be
Yeah, number
biased
one.
because I wasn't driving, but I really liked Spa at the beginning of the season. It was, I don't know, the memory is so blurred. It was a good race. Monaco also was like, it was, I don't know, it was a race. It wasn't like quintessential Monaco, but it was a clean race for whatever happened. And also, Sambor was quite fun in 24 in T2, and in 23 T2, do me the honors, Destructo. You pick it.
Well, for me, it's gonna be a bit biased, but for me, it had to have been Abu Dhabi because some people, well, most people don't know, but I had a default setup on for that race. Because I just completely forgot to stick a setup on, and I went on to win by 3 seconds. And I was fighting with Fantastic that entire time in that, and then Ewan almost snuck in and got his best performance of that season. He almost got a P2. I think he was like 2 tenths off. But me and him were fighting for 90% of like that race, and then he got a penalty. So instead of him fighting me, he just wanted to stick behind, making sure that Ewan didn't overtake him, and I was fine with that. Even though I probably should have pushed a wee bit more, because then he was still my championship rival at that point. But again, I digress. But no, Abu Dhabi is probably one of the funnest races I've had in that, like, overall in that season, especially because I'm pretty sure either Maav or Monke got punted lap 1, which was also really entertaining to watch.
Shouldn't have let you pick
Yeah.
that race. I didn't get
That was
punted.
my fault.
Fun fact. I punted Antacid on you. I had
No,
no, it was me. It was me. In
was that you?
Yeah, turn, what was it? Turn 4?
It was the
One,
wee hairpin
three?
type one.
Yeah, turn
The
4.
one left on me.
I had like I was racing that weekend with like flu, fever, and shit. So I had, apart from the fact that I hate driving Abu Dhabi, I was sick. So I was like, please get this over with. And I just had a massive skill issue the whole week for that race. Like I turned up to practice and I was doing okay, like with the usual gap that I have to Leo. But then the more I practiced, the gap just grew larger. And I was like, oh, this is a bad one. And then I got sick towards the end of the week, and I was like, okay, this is it. I'm done. And in the race, I just had a skill issue, and I was avoiding something or something like that, or I just outbrake. I don't remember. I drove like something that is going to get me community service. So yeah, I think it was me who crashed into you. Like it wasn't like a big crash, but it was me who made you have to fight your way through the field. And for me, the best race was like not on a personal level because I got third that race. Was Austria because we were fighting the whole way, like the whole complete race. It was you and Tacit and me, as it ended up being in the championship too. Like we were the three of us fighting, and it was like a DRS train, and we were running away from everyone, but like different strategies and all that. I did like that race. It was like
What was really shown in Austria was the fact that Antacid was definitely not a tier 2. Considering that after the pit stops, he had before the safety car came out, he had a 15-second gap to me and you.
Are we
And
gonna
I
talk
don't know
about
how,
Monza?
I don't know how anyone caught that. No, it's Austria.
yeah, the first race of the season.
First race of the season, he had a 15-second gap to me and Maav while me and him were there swapping the entire time. And somehow the admins did not notice that because I still won that race because he had a penalty.
Yeah, but he also did it in Monza too when it was like was it a wet race,
What
Mav?
Monza? Yeah, what Monza? He just ran away, and
It's
also
30 seconds
Monaco.
in the lead.
Yeah, he also Monaco.
Oh yeah, Monaco, he went by like what 40 seconds I think it was or something. We should have called on it, but
You know, speaking of Monaco, that was my favorite race of the season, I think, because I went from P6 to P2 that race, and probably the hardest track to overtake.
oh, because that was the race where I got that grip pen because of that AlphaTauri he didn't get out of my way on my flying lap, but I whacked into Ewan. I have to remember or not. I think I started 8th and I got up to 4th or something like that. I don't remember. But
Which AlphaTauri was it?
I don't remember. It was a long time ago. But
I hope it wasn't me. I don't think it was me.
no, it wasn't. It wasn't you. It was whoever your team it was at that time. I think it was a reserve.
Yeah, probably. I think that was like one of the only races I had a reserve in 23, to be fair. But to be fair, I was doing good in Monaco. I was doing well, and then I got wing damage, and then I wasn't doing well. So Monaco just being Monaco, essentially.
Yeah, it was like it was the race of my genius Ferrari Strat, wasn't it?
Oh yes.
Running
From
It
what
was.
was it?
full wets to
P-
mediums.
P2,
Full wets to
P3.
medium.
Yeah, no, to hards, even hards. It was even better.
Was it hard?
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
I was like, okay, this is the perfect lap to put another set of wet weather tires on, and I was like, why are they putting me hards? And then it was try not to die, and then I ended up pitting with someone else who obviously wasn't in the same strategy. I was like, I was so destroyed mentally because I came out in front of who I wanted to come out in front, but I was on hards, so it was
You're on
like,
the wrong tires.
yeah, but it was
Yeah,
it was a good race.
I think it was Isaac. You were fighting that race. I think.
No, it was towards the end. Towards the end, we were fighting. Like he started.
Oh, it was probably Monkey then that you were fighting. Because it couldn't have been.
Yeah, I think it was.
Was it?
If it was a race that I wasn't going to win, which Monaco was obviously, I was fighting the Astons. I didn't care about you or Antasi. it was like, okay, I'm not going to win this. It's for the team, for Sparta. So yeah, it was probably Monke. Monkey.
The Astons were all smoked.
Monkey.
Yeah. And well,
But there were some very good predictions, in my opinion. I mean, everyone had their own favorite race. Everyone has their own experience from the race. I mean, some of us didn't race Monaco, 23.
Even though
After
they chose
choosing
it.
the track. But,
You were the one who chose it.
Oh, yeah?
No, fake news.
yeah.
It was Finn who chose it. We're just trying to blame it on Leo.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Leo's
Well,
fault.
Well, we just blame Leo
Yeah,
for
but-
anything.
All in all, I
So-
think we had a very successful season 9.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
of
always-
course, the numbers dropped in 24. The game was still new. The game was not ready to be in very good condition for a league running. Some leagues had to run world cars to even have basically some kind of competition or performance for the big guys. I mean, for us, it doesn't really matter. We still have the fast guys, we have the slow guys, but in this new game, I think the fast guys got a bit slower and the slow guys got a bit faster because if you go faster, the car gets unstable. If your car gets unstable, you have more tire wear. So the fast guys definitely have a bit of disadvantage this game, I would really say. I mean, I see it with the tire wear when we did practice with Maav. He always was like 3% lower than me, which is basically after 10 laps of pit stop, you know,
Because I'm better.
definitely.
And then there's me who's slow and has high tire wear.
You're just an anomaly. That's why. You're just the anomaly.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
fair
that's just the
enough.
V-carb effect, to be honest.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
the
No, it's just a
size too.
Sam effect.
Nah, I don't
You
know,
always
man.
have quite high tire wear, don't you? Sam?
Yes. Yes, I
I
do,
said
and
so.
I don't know how because I'm not quick at all.
I don't remember complaining. Yeah, it's probably setup. Weren't we saying that?
No,
Yeah.
like I'm using the same setup as
Oh!
Ravi and stuff most of the time,
Gentlemen.
and it's still terrible for me.
Setup. Big information for all the 24 drivers that will not be watching this podcast because it's going on for 2 hours already, nearly.
It's 1.5.
Oh well, but the setup style has completely changed
No
Come
way.
on.
Again.
again, and it's inverted wings. I hate them. What's your
Ew.
opinion on them?
Oh,
More rear than front wing.
I heard that, but I thought.
Well,
like,
I'm going to be using less rear wing and more front wing because I
Well, do
will
that
be an
and you
idiot.
spin because for some reason the car reacts bad over curbs if you drive that.
Well, we'll see how it is with controller because controller seems to
Same.
be a complete and utter
yeah, it's
whole
different.
different story.
It's different.
Yeah.
It's a
that's
bit
the thing.
different, but it's the same.
Yeah, I mean, both
It's not
have
a
valid
bit different;
points.
it's very different. Controller's nearly undrivable without having to completely change the controller settings.
Yeah, that's true. I wanted to have a chill night, play some F124 on the controller because I can't be asked to get into my rig every time. I wanted to deinstall it after 2 laps in Bahrain, so that explains a lot.
Why
If I had
Bahrain?
a rig, I'd sleep in the rig. I'm not
Skin
gonna lie.
issue.
It looks comfy.
Yeah,
It is comfy, indeed.
It helps with getting used to it too. Like you can fall asleep on it.
Oh
I
yeah.
already did, like, I built it yesterday and I already fell asleep 2 times.
Yeah, like it's really easy. Like mine is not nearly as comfy. It's more like square. Like I'm
Mexican
literally
version,
sit.
you know.
Uh,
Anyways, community service, I'm coming.
yeah,
I'll get a rig
racist.
from team. Man.
Yeah, no, but
Hey, we're not going down that route.
as if crashing
let me
into me
re-invite
every
you,
practice
Janie.
wasn't enough during the whole season. Yeah, no, but like mine is not nearly as comfy. But like if I'm a little bit sleepy, I know I don't have to get into the rig because I will probably fall asleep sitting on it. Like, so yours is really easy to sit in. Like, isn't that why drivers sometimes fall asleep while waiting in the garage? Like, it's like a really
Yes.
comfy position.
Yeah, I mean, to get into and out of it is definitely not a comfortable position
yeah.
because I literally have to lay my arm on the bed, have all the force on my left arm to not break the chair. Because yes, it's very stable, but you know, when you have something new, it's like with your new phone. After having it one day, you're like protecting it like a little baby, and 10 days after, you're throwing the phone onto the couch, onto the bed, and everything. Like it's kind of like that at the moment. Like once I learn properly how to deal with it, it's better. But today I had some complaints with my back and my ass
That's what
because
she
for
said.
some reason the seating position is so much
sure it's the
different to
chair?
anything I was. Yeah, it was.
Nice to get a get.
Maps in Mexico, I'm in Germany. Don't worry. Nah, that's all in all. I'm very happy.
Yeah, no, it's easy to see why. Like, it's going to be quite a big adaptation, and that's going to be obviously your excuse when someone beats you. But
Oh, yes.
it is a really nice change.
No,
Uh,
the excuse is Leo's bad.
Yeah,
He's
that's
washed.
a good excuse.
Leo's
Skeleton.
Can
washed.
someone change my name for next season? You know,
Le washed. It's like LeBron, but
No.
he's Le washed.
that sounds a bit too French. I don't like French.
Well, before we go, who wants to go first and give us your top 3 for the constructors, like combined, for season 10?
Boy,
Oh.
that's so useless, mate. That's so useless.
I've got a really good one.
Oh,
Go on,
wow. Go on, Sam.
Go
You're
on.
first.
Haas P1,
Huh?
Mm.
Ooh.
VCarb P2,
Bruh.
and then
Wait, who is
P3
P1?
will be
Sam is speaking.
Sauber.
Okay, I'm leaving this chat for 1 minute.
Haas VCarb Sauber. That's
Well,
my
I'm
guess.
pretty
Haas
sure.
V-Carb
the
Sauber.
TVs
Look,
are gonna
it
have-
doesn't work like that if you just pick the down teams because you think they get the best drivers. They still have the worst picks.
No, I just want
in
to
the
pick
second
Sauber because Destructo's left Sauber now,
I've
so
just
Sauber's
left
going to
Sauber.
win.
He's
I don't
Ferrari,
think so.
isn't he?
Yeah, I'm Ferrari TP now.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah,
Chef's
so
got
he's
some
left,
shoes
so
as
now
well.
they're
Bro
going to
did
win.
Bro did a
He
threat for
was the
sure.
reason they weren't doing good.
Alpha is
When you're getting bald,
Alpha
come
is
on.
finally going to do well with
You
a
know, I'm already
competent
getting
TP.
grey hairs, so maybe I could just go bald.
Fucking. Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay. Sorry.
Alpha got an upgrade at TP. Nah, you're just kidding.
Excuse me!
Who's next? Who wants to
I'm
give?
not having no disrespect here.
Monkey.
V-Carb wins.
Monkey.
Yeah, okay, so my top three, I think, could be Alpine, Red Bull,
I am out of this chat. No.
and Haas.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay.
Okay.
Why is there with Haas? Why is everyone
Alpine.
saying Haas? Just because Toyota's back doesn't mean they're going to win.
You
You never know.
What does
I just-
Toyota matter with our lineup,
Okay,
with
okay,
our
Leo.
expectations for next season? Yeah.
Leo, it's your
Well,
turn.
Why
Just
not?
for you to not leave and stop crying about it, tell us your top three.
Honestly, Mercedes,
Oh,
Ferrari,
oh,
Red Bull.
boo.
You
You're just
have to
picking
get-
like
you
the
don't-
top.
No,
picking
wait. Wait, you don't back yourself to get first.
No.
I
did
didn't
the
back
reverse order.
myself
I
to get
think-
first.
I don't think we will win. I hope
There's a
we will,
difference,
but
Sam, there's a difference.
like already said, you can also say Haas on top and
He's
McLaren last
already
because
doing it.
you don't know what drivers you get. You
He's
can't really
already
say
doing
if
it.
they will do well or not.
The season hasn't
That-
even
that is
started, and
true.
he's already sandbagging.
But we will see when we
I'm
come
mature.
to next season on how bad these predictions are going to be.
We just have to stop Alpine from getting
Oh,
up
are
again
we
because I hate
predicting for
Alpine.
next season? I thought you were meant for this season.
No.
Mate, what are we predicting?
What are you on about?
Huh?
No,
I'm predicting last season, you know. I was predicting what the
Wait,
like,
she's
bottom
already
three were
season
last
12.
season.
I didn't hear you say
We're
predicting. I
doing
thought
two
you said.
podcasts now. Okay, come on.
Where's she
Oh,
looking
I
at the
thought you
season
were-
11 calendar?
I thought you were saying who was like each guy in the podcast, like top three teams for this season.
Yeah, that's it.
That is
Yeah.
Well, that's what I
So
just
it's
said.
going
You're
to
all-
be V-Carb, Williams, and then Sauber.
Yeah, well, your third pick is absolutely nuts. Anyways, Welshy, your
Your
pick.
mind's changed, by
No,
the way.
Franco.
It was
No,
initially
no,
Haas.
Welshy,
V-Carb,
Welshy, is-
Yeah,
Okay, let's
that
get Sauber out of here. V-Carb, Haas, Williams.
Welshy. The prediction
changing.
for season 10, not 11.
Yeah, I'm gonna say McLaren, Red Bull, and Ferrari.
Oh, doesn't like Aston. Okay.
You know, one thing I noticed,
I mean, screw Aston.
What's one thing you noticed, Monkey?
I
Aston
think.
Martin's not up there.
I think.
I wanna say that Aston are gonna be below top 4 this season. That's my
I'm going to
um,
say Aston are last.
right. Now
Damn.
you're crazy, so let's
Copium.
not say that.
Copy.
Yeah, that is literal copium. Like
Okay, Haas are going to be penultimate.
Is before I do mine, is Luke driving or not? Is that confirmed?
Not confirmed.
right now, but he probably will step in from time to time.
I mean, even if he will,
No, he did.
I would win.
He did say he was doing full time back, didn't he?
Oh, really? No.
Well, if
No.
okay,
If he has to.
If he well, he probably will have to, because then he's gonna get decent picks. But
Yeah.
it's probably better if he does race, because he's already guaranteed a decent driver then.
yeah, it's the same as Leo. Like, if you are good, it's better for you to drive. So if he's basing it on if I need to, he wants to win. So he's going to have to drive himself in both tiers. So if he does that, I think it's going to be Red Bull first, and then it's going to be pick whatever two you want of Ferrari, Aston, and McLaren. Depending
Kind of boring.
depending on who
Because-
drives. Depending on who drives.
Okay.
Because like yes, Leo is getting the 8th best driver, but he's also getting the 2 best. So I think it's hard for him to. I mean, he can bottle it. He's a known bottler, but
Am I?
Especially around Bahrain.
Since when?
and Bahrain,
Oh my god,
and
if anyone
Spa,
mentions Bahrain, I'm gonna give you all
And
kinds of
Hungary.
service.
and Jeddah,
Jeddah.
and Japan.
And Spa.
You're
Really?
more Japan, yeah, I wanted
Bahrain.
to say.
Bro, it's just lucky. Nah, it's just luck, Fernando.
Okay, Lando Norris, hello.
No, yeah, but I think Leo's winning it, and it depends on Luke. And after that, I don't think any of the TPs can like keep up with them. They are the 2 fastest TPs, so they have.
What do you mean? I'm here. I'm the fastest. What do you mean?
Yeah, maybe in your dreams, right? After putting Sauber in P3.
No, did you not realise they're going to be P3 because Destructo's not TP anymore?
What? So you're already back in chef better than me?
Well, to be honest, I also dropped Destructo for a 23 seed already, so.
Oh,
Let's
you still
move
have
on.
that promise to me. Remember, you still have that promise to me.
Yeah, maybe when I'm 80 and can't win the
Well, like you'll
championship
both
anymore.
bottle everything.
Destructo is the only person
Yeah.
to willingly go from 4th
To be
to
honest-
7th and be happy about it.
Destructo, how do we do this? You're not Alfa Romeo TP anymore, so it does look likely I'm pulling off a Hamilton one day.
Well, we'll just have to see.
But that's only if you remove your hair and be a professor.
But do you want me to send you a picture?
Yes.
Okay,
That would be
Right.
funny.
it's fine.
Well, if I remove all my hair, would you stand for me then?
Just watch Destructo
No.
remove his hair for Leo to back
Right.
out
You Laurent Mekies.
as he backed out of saying, I won't drive in this season, I'm only going to be a TP.
Oh, you gotta show them that.
That lasted
I
like
deleted every picture.
3 days.
Yeah, well, because none other game is literally in any other league. Like, yeah, you have iRacing, but then you're gonna pay more than what you want for your car or your license one day.
But you don't have a license, you're 17. What are you
He
worried
does.
about
He
it?
has
Of course I have a
multiple
license. I have a motorcycle license, mate.
Then go race MotoGP. Oh, you can't because you're washed there too.
I'm too fat for it.
Yeah, they race around Bahrain, so he wouldn't want to go there.
Oh, come on.
I swore.
Community service.
Let me just find the clip to add it at the end of the podcast to put
Let's
Leo
not.
crashing in the straight with Charlie. They
No, but
Oh my
hey
God.
Monkey, then the crash.
Oh, we found it.
and will you say at the end, Monkey, when they crash into each other every time?
Boy,
It's Monkey,
Monkey and then an
Monkey,
explosion,
Monkey.
please. You know what I mean?
Like Nico Rosberg's one.
Yeah.
The graphics department sure has work for this week.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we went through everything we wanted to speak, eh?
Yeah, anything you want to say? Anyone who's not Leo?
Monkey.
yes,
Monkey.
yes.
Ferrari for the constructors and Arahin. We are winning it all.
Copy and
No,
Monk,
you're the
dr-
TP.
No, we're winning it all.
No, V
Ferrari in the
I don't want
mud.
to hear it. Yeah, Ferrari in the mud. You're not Professor.
Professor.
You can't pull a Lewis Hamilton
Yes, I can.
because
And
Leo's not in your
whatever.
team. You've not pulled a washed previous
It's a bit of a
many-time
disgrace
champion.
to call me Lewis Hamilton after being a Max
He's
fan
also
for
just
since
called you
he's
Wash.
born.
He's also just called you Wash. Go send your drivers to go kill him or do something.
Well,
He's just
if
called
you look
Wash.
at Bahrain, we can't really say he's not.
But he also did win the championship, so you also can't say that he's not.
Yeah, but then you
The
that's the same
glazing.
as Lewis Hamilton. Lewis
Stop
Hamilton won the
glazing, he's
championship,
not going to you.
and Lewis Hamilton keeps crashing.
I'm going to Ferrari one day.
You
Oh,
won't.
That's
yes.
a promise I made.
You won't.
Yeah,
you
but
will
that'll
back
be in
out.
like 10 seasons.
Mate, I'm gonna do a Nico Rosberg in TP style. If we win next season, I'm gonna retire as TP.
You will back out and you say, oh mate, but that engine sounds so bad. It bleeds my ears. I can't drive that. I'm calling it.
When did I say the Ferrari sounds bad? I said the Ferrari sounds good.
The Ferrari sounds sexy. That's
It's-
it.
The
Yeah.
Ferrari
Stop.
sounds like it's on fire.
Stop giving
Exactly.
him hope.
Mate, you know me. I love to give people hope and then turn them down.
Yeah.
That's why I have no girlfriend. Anyways.
Oh.
Oh.
The disappointment in his voice.
Self burn.
He was believing it for a second.
Uh.
No, he's coming back to McLaren.
This is going to be
Now
one
that I
editing
have,
job editing this whole thing, you know.
No, yeah, but on all seriousness,
I told you
it's
already.
going to be
I
fun.
think for the next podcasts we should do a time limit, like 1 hour.
Trellis is
Yes.
on it.
I
God, jeez, these
definitely
guys
agree.
so good.
Because
Yeah.
we have the 7 biggest yappers in the whole server now. Well, we miss Salty. And we miss Minty. Well, Minty, we don't want him here anyways.
don't
You
want
can
him.
edit that out.
Give me the one.
I
Give me the
won't.
one.
I won't.
Edit that out. Now that I have no more questions.
I don't care if I have to do community service. I'm not editing anything out. It's
We
lasting
should add something.
it's lasting a total of 30 minutes on YouTube before it gets put down because of swearing.
Can we add a rule like community service? Like every time you swear in the server, you get a 1 minute timeout. Is there a bot for that? That would be funny. Honestly.
I'd be permabanned then.
Mate, I would be kicked out of the league.
Yeah, we'd be kicked.
I will be constantly banned, and you say worth it after the timeout is passed.
I mean, you banned me from our garage, so
Wait, he did?
No, I didn't. I just
he
timed
did
him out.
nearly.
He disrespected
timed
me,
me out
so
for an hour.
I
That was
had
basically a
to. He
ban.
forced my hand. He was misbehaving, so he forced my hand. It's not my fault. I'm not even in the Red Bull one, so stop bitching. Yeah, community service. Okay, on that
I think that's us.
on that really
Yeah, I think we
nice
can call
note,
that it.
I think it's time to go. It's 4 p.m. for me, which means it is like what 1 a.m. for
11
you.
p.m.
We have 0 for
It's
me.
11 p.m.
It is 11
We have
o'clock.
midnight.
It is 11 p.m.
And what time is it for Monke?
Monke.
Yeah,
Six,
it's 6.
6 o'clock.
It's
6 p.m.
Mate, where do you live? Do you live
He
in the
lives in
jungle?
Ohio. He lives in Ohio.
I don't
Well,
live
that's
in
basically
Ohio.
the jungle.
Oh, it's somewhere around that state.
he
Like Idaho.
sounds
No,
he's-
the
he
East
sounds like
Coast,
he
buddy.
lives in Alabama.
The East Coast. Is that the left side or right side?
Okay,
No,
and
the
with
right
that
side.
note, we should end this asking.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
should.
Leo, do you have one more thing to say? It's the goodbye.
Yeah.
My goodbye.
Yeah, your
Monkey!
goodbye. The same as your hello.
Nah.
We're waiting.
Oh. We're waiting. We are done until you said.
Exactly.
Okay.
That was so disappointing.
So anticlimactic.
Do you want to try again? Do you want to have another go?
Yeah, I had a change of mind. I'm editing something out. Like
You can have Resurgent. You can have another go at it.
What do you mean?
Have another go. Have another go. Make it more.
have a less shit go at it, please.
One more go.
We know you can do better, or less worse at least.
Monkey.
No, he's just playing now. He's washed.
I can't say
He cannot
He's
even
washed.
say that now.
you can say it because you said it earlier. So if you said it earlier, you can say it now.
No, but it was a spur of the moment
No, I
thing.
forgot how to say it, and I'm tired.
Monke, you were so excited and passionate to see him that it almost looked like you weren't talking shit about him earlier.
Monkey!
See?
That was close enough.
That's better. That's better. That's better.
We can end on that.
Yeah, we can end on that.
I agree.
Thanks a lot for joining, everyone, and we'll see you next week if we don't get cancelled.
We will probably absolutely get cancelled and
I won't, the rest of
serving
you will.
community service. Mate, you were
Leo,
editing all this.
Alfie, Maav, maybe Sam. You're all getting community service.
Why me?
Oh,
I
I'm getting
didn't do
community
anything.
service for
I have
sure.
to. I agree. I have to. I don't care.
Why would I?
You're editing,
Guilty by association.
nah?
Editing.
Editing.
That's going at the start. That's going at the
Oh,
start
yes.
of it.
That
I'm
Oh my God.
editing it. Editing by Sam.
Stay until the end for a Leo brain fart. I'm going to stop
do
the
that.
recording now.
I think
Thanks a
this
lot.
is the end.
Yeah, it is.